Twin flame, dark night of the soul. Pretty terrible. They have another name for it in the Zen traditions. It has been referred to as ego death, right? Now, I mean, really, the ego doesn't die. It doesn't go away until you do the thing that we call die. Then it does. But you no longer, after the ego death is over, what should happen eventually, and this could take a while, we'll talk about that, but what should happen eventually is you no longer live in the mind, you just look upon the mind. But there is a you who is looking upon the mind. Most people believe themselves to be the mind, right? We'll come back to that. But this is your spiritual awakening where you're releasing identification with that for good. Let's talk about this dark night of the soul, ego death first, like what it is, the stuff that you should be experiencing, what to expect. And then I'll talk about like why this is happening. So this is important because most people think if they only suffer, like we had a bad breakup, and there was all this suffering, that means that it's my twin flame and I've got unrequited love for them. That means that it's my twin flame. No, there's something else that has to happen. We'll talk about that. But let's talk about this part. So it's, I mean, you know, pretty bad. Usually what happens is you meet your twin flame and then somewhere between 4 and 8 weeks, there's this bubble phase, 4 and 8 weeks. At the end of that, they break up. So the initial breakup, and you just go into an uncontrolled tailspin. This is the most desperate situation that you've ever been in your whole life. Bawling and crying yourself to sleep every night. You don't know what you're going to do. You'll do anything to make the pain stop. You're checking their social media literally like 50 times a day. I remember like I'd be checking her Snapchat like every 5 seconds. Is she talking to that other guy? Right? You know, because it'll show you like how many snaps people send. At least it used to. You know, just you're going nuts. Cry myself to sleep every night, like in the fetal position, screaming into my pillow. And then, you know, slept about an hour. And then I would just wake up after an hour of sleep, whoop-de-doo, and then just stare at the fucking ceiling for hours until the alarm goes off. And it's because there's this obsessive thinking. It's so insane, the obsessive thinking, because it's like it's happening to you. You can't stop. You can't turn it off. It's like it's happening to you. It's like it's being done to you. It's so fucking weird. It's never happened before or since, this obsessive thinking. And then just throughout the day, like at my job, I can't function. I thank God I wasn't asked to do much. Somehow things kind of worked out so that I could get away with that for a while. And then right when Dark Night of the Soul ended, that changed my job situation. I had to work again. Funny how that worked, huh? But yeah, I wasn't worth a shit, man. I wasn't eating, I wasn't sleeping, I couldn't function. There's just like uncontrolled crying fits would happen, you know. Now, also there was this is very important, so we're going to get deeper into this. So there's this sense of meaninglessness. This is very important. This has to happen. So there's all the other stuff that I just talked about, and if that's all that happens, then maybe this isn't your twin flame. And this is a big problem on the internet, guys, that you guys hear me talking about all the time, is all the people who are just obsessed with somebody, and then the internet validates their obsession and tells them, oh, well, you met your twin flame. Why? Because you had a bad breakup? And the thing is, I have some contrast too, because I've had a bad breakup that still was pretty bad, and I was going through it. It was pretty rough for me. So this person was a total narcissist. She just tore my heart out of my chest, threw it on the ground and stomped all over it. She was a horrible person. One of the most toxic, oh my God. And it was just a really bad breakup, but there was no spiritual awakening that took place at all. It was just a bad breakup. Now, with my twin flame, she didn't exactly tear my heart out of my chest. You know, she wasn't like super mean about it. I mean, maybe yours was. It was just like horrible. Like I've been through other breakups before, like the other person that I just told you about. I've been cheated on, and I've never reacted like that before in other breakups. Crazy. So at some point during this dark night of the soul, what you're calling dark night of the soul, there should be this sense of meaninglessness, like a loss of identity. Like I don't know who I am anymore. Like you look in the mirror and you're not, you're not thinking about self-deleting, right? You're not thinking about ending it all per se. I mean, and if you are, I don't want to hear it in the comments. I'm just going to delete you. I don't want to hear about that. I can't help you with that, okay? I'm not a psychologist, but that's not even it, though. It's this weird, like, it's so hard to describe. Like, I don't know who I am anymore. There's this loss of identity, right? And I'm always talking about this in my videos. You just go watch any one of my recent coaching videos. I'm always talking about this. The personality mind, the mask of self, right? This collection of retained thought and emotional patterns that you've been accumulating since you were a child. It constitutes this identity of self, right? The different roles that you play in life. You know, you're a mom, you're a brother, you're a doctor, a teacher, a lawyer, a truck driver, you're Republican, Democrat, whatever. This identity of self, it's all thoughts and emotions. And it's like by the age of 7 or 8 is when that finally starts to form into something. That's what psychologists are going to tell you. Now, before that, like the newborn baby, there was nothing there at all. It's just awareness. That's the soul. The soul is consciousness, right? But this mask of self, this identity, like again, if I walk up to you on the street and I go, hi, nice to meet you. Tell me about yourself. You're going to tell me a story. You're going to give me a history, right? And when you awaken, you're unbecoming that. You don't become the soul. You unbecome the mind. You're unbecoming the mind. Like Ram Dass, there's a film about Ram Dass called Becoming Nobody, right? And that's what he's talking about. You're going beyond the ego mask of self. You're not living in the mind, you're looking on the mind. So it's not like the ego really dies. Again, they have called this ego death. That's the kind of traditional terminology for it. But the grip that it has on you, I guess, is what's dying. And your sense of self is shifting from this identity mask of ego to this spiritual being of just consciousness. Consciousness isn't thought. You don't think your way there. We'll come back to that. But this sense of meaninglessness that's happening during the dark night of the soul, yeah, it is. It's like a loss of identity. Like I don't know who I am. Okay? And that's got to be present, guys. That's kind of the first indicator that this is different this time. This isn't just an ordinary breakup or a bad breakup. And again, I dare say it's like 80-90% of the people on the internet who think they met their twin flame, they haven't. And I've made lots of videos about this, you guys, and I'm not sorry. I'm not sorry. These people deserve to be cared for, but not like this, not giving them false hope and not validating some kind of a delusion. There's no spiritual awakening that ever takes place. These people just stay obsessed with somebody. And that's kind of where all the like toxic twin flame culture comes from and all the myths. I just made a video about this. I make videos about this all the time, where I talked about the 2 cult leaders on Netflix And I explained, yeah, that's really all it is. There's no spiritual awakening. It's just an obsession and all these myths. That's the root cause of the problem. The two cult leaders on Netflix, whose name I will not use, just go to Netflix or go to Google and type in Netflix Twin Flames and you'll find them. And it's a cult. I'm allowed to say that. I have to say this because they've apparently sued people before in the past, which is stupid. I have the right to free speech. I can say my opinion is it's a cult. And they're right now anyway, they're getting investigated by the Attorney General. So at minimum, even if nothing happens, the optics are pretty bad. Okay, but again, the myths, that's those two people, they're just the symptom. They're just the symptom of the problem. The real problem is all these people that are obsessed and they encourage each other on these Twin Flame Facebook groups and chat rooms. That does not happen in my Twin Flame Facebook group. I'll tell you that right now. We don't allow that shit at all. And most of the people in there have been watching my YouTube videos long enough. They kind of know how this really works, right? And you're just not going to get that kind of toxicity in there. But most of the internet, unfortunately, yeah. And it is. It's just people that are obsessed. There's a real psychological disorder called obsessive love disorder. You Google it. That's a real thing, guys. But the difference between that and this is there's a incredible spiritual awakening that takes place, you guys. And it starts during this dark night of the soul. And again, it starts with this, I don't know who I am. There's this sense of meaninglessness. That's the first kind of thing that's different, that kind of starts up. And then you're pulled into this tornado of crazy paranormal experiences, right? Like leaving your body, kundalini, psychic visions, especially in the heart. It's almost not at all in the head at all, like almost zero. Maybe a little bit in the head, but people make shit up about that too. Like they listen to the voices in their head and they think it's their twin flame talking to them or something. No, most of the psychic information you're going to get is coming through the heart. And it feels really exactly like deja vu, right? It's like this weird, eerie knowing. And you just know information about the future. And it feels like deja vu, and then it does come true. You're being shown information about the future, and then it does come true. Or you're being shown information about another person, and it turns out to be true. And again, it'll stop you in your tracks, like deja vu. Because deja vu is telling you, I've been here before. Intuition, this form of psychic ability that you're going to get in your heart, is information about, another person or the future, right? But they both kind of feel the same. Actually, deja vu, intuition, they feel the same. It's this weird, eerie knowing. It's just the information is different. Kundalini, being pulled up into the sky like anti-gravity energy surging through your body from the base of your spine. Usually it'll come out your crown or get pretty close. And it's like anti-gravity or like a big rubber band attached to your body, like pulling you around and pulling you up, right? It's not hot and cold flashes. It's not headaches. It's not nausea. It's not tingles. It's kundalini. It's energy you're being pulled up into the sky, or you're being pulled around. Again, leaving your body, out-of-body experiences, non-dual merging, experiences of oneness with God, the divine, right? I know I'm one with everything. And again, it's this weird knowing. You don't understand it conceptually. Now, there could also be some external things going on. Yes. And I'll talk about that in a second, because if you're obsessed with somebody, it is possible for you to get this external stuff. Yes. So if you only get the external stuff and you don't get any of these other internal paranormal things, it is not your twin flame. Okay? Everybody knows how the law of attraction works. If you focus on something long enough, you're going to either get that thing to show up, or you're going to get indicators of it. Like if you think about a person a lot, you're going to see their name around. Okay? That doesn't mean it's your twin flame. It means you're thinking about them a lot. And the universe is echoing that back to you. But if you're having Kundalini, out-of-body experiences, unity, union, right? Experiences of oneness with the divine, psychic visions through your heart, which come true. Very important. They have to come true. It has to be verifiable psychic experiences, not the voices in your head. No. Not psychosis, okay? Don't be coming at me with the weird shit. No, real psychic ability. It's in your heart, guys. And that happens to everybody that met their twin flame, okay? This type of highly paranormal stuff, ESP, leaving your body, Kundalini, not hot flashes, real Kundalini. If none of that stuff is going on, it's not your twin, dude. Go see a therapist. And I'm not saying that to be mean. I really think you should. I think you deserve it. And I mean, guys, the whole internet is going to tell people like this who really should be talking to a psychologist and getting help. They deserve to feel better. They deserve to be cared for. They should go talk to. There's no shame in talking to a psychologist, guys. But again, the whole internet is just going to validate. There's people that attack me because I tell the truth too much, I guess. I have a problem telling the truth about this. You know, they don't like it when I get up here and start busting all the myths. You know, they're having such a party in all these twin flame Facebook groups, staying obsessed with some person. And if we fast forward 10, 15, 20 years, their twin flame is never going to come forward. They're never going to come back. Nothing is ever going to change. It's going to be 20 years of them being obsessed with some person. Mark my words. Mark my words. This is why I keep telling people, and I'm not sorry, guys. I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm not sorry. I'm saying it because it's the truth. I tell the truth too much, guys. When all the other twin flame coaches are gone, I'm going to be here. Because it's an immediate and obvious paranormal spiritual awakening. Leaving your body, Kundalini, psychic information through your heart, which comes true, has to come true. Non-dual merging with God, experiences of oneness. You just know that you are the sky and the tree and the clouds and the people and the buildings and everything. And you're just like, whoa, I don't know how I know that, but I just know it, right? You don't understand it, is what you meant. You can't understand spirit, guys. It's beyond comprehension. This is not a journey of the mind. That's why I'm always telling you guys there's no healing, okay? So if none of that stuff happens ever, and it's got to happen pretty soon, it always happens, almost always, it's some of the paranormal stuff should start to happen during the dark night of the soul or shortly thereafter. During or shortly thereafter. And to be nice, I'll give people the benefit of the doubt. I'll tell them maybe 12 months, maybe 24 months, but I think that's way too long, guys. It's got to be obvious and immediate. And again, I've made lots of videos about this, guys. A spontaneous spiritual awakening this is a known phenomenon, and it doesn't just happen only to twin flames. This is a thing that happens to a lot of people, and there's other catalysts that can trigger one of these things. A spontaneous spiritual awakening, highly paranormal, okay? Becoming psychic, Kundalini, leaving your body, experiencing oneness, right? And other triggers could be the death of a loved one, you get over a terminal illness, a near-death experience, life circumstances, losing everything, right? I'll link for you my video called Twin Flames, the Doorway to Union in the video description. So Facebook up above in the post, YouTube down below in the video description, there's a video that I made called Twin Flames, the Doorway to Union, where I explain that. A twin flame is just one way to have one of these spontaneous awakenings. But what I'm telling you is the phenomenon of a spontaneous spiritual awakening or forced spiritual awakening, I call it sometimes, is a known thing. Yes, it is a known phenomenon. Psychologists talk about it. People talk about it in the medical community, whether they really believe it or not, but some of them do. Some of them do. And I've shown you information about that. I'll link the article for you also from the psychologists. It's a peer-reviewed psychology paper on spontaneous awakenings. I'll link it for you in the description so you can check it out. And just read the first paragraph. You're going to see she's talking about what I'm talking about. So people know this exists. But your twin flame is just one way for that to happen. And again, the net result is it could take a few years, guys. I mean, yeah, your twin flame, they may come back. I help people do that all the time. But the real purpose is your awakening. And the net result is you don't feel like you're this personality mask anymore. You don't feel like you're this mental person, but you look upon it. You don't live in the mind. You look upon the mind. And your perspective is way, 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 way different, guys. And there's just peace. Emotions, they don't really stir as much. They happen a little bit sometimes, but it's very, very peaceful. And you have these amazing abilities to like manifest things, and you always feel like you're one with everything. That's why ego death happens, okay? To break you out of this mental prison, to get you to see your true nature as this spiritual being of consciousness beyond mind. As always, I'm also going to link for you the Samadhi movie, again, in the video description. It's only an hour long. Check it out. If you're really on this awakening journey, it's going to make a lot of sense to you, you guys. Go watch that video today. It's free. It's an hour long. I'll link it for you in the description. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.